Was it a smooth life before 2022, before the invasion? Or did you ever think that you would have to come out at some point?
Everything can happen. Any kind of, like, I don't know, like maybe not stable mental person can get the weapon, get to the bomb shelter, right? And kill us there. Because I was not locking, there is no security in there. So that was scared us the most. 6th day, we decide to trying to get to the train, right? And gets to the west of the country. So this is what we did. And then we jumped into the train and we get away to the west of the country.
They will not give you or accept your educational credentials.
They will not
over
accept
here.
my education here. Yes, so you need to recertify yourself or re-educate yourself.
After spending 2 years or more than that in Canada, what do you feel like? Of course, everyone will remember their home country, their homeland. You can never forget that. But the life that you have been able to build for yourself here, is it something that you cherish, or you are planning to go back at some point?
And why we left our country? We left our country because we want to save our kids, make them secure and safety, right? So one thing we are trying always with my wife, making a better conditions for the kids, and we want to, if we will bless it, right, and we will find out the way to make a permanent residence here, and then to apply for Canadian citizenship, right? That will be our best case scenario, right?
वेलकम बैक दोस्तों, आप सुन रहे हैं मनी का शो। हम हैं आपके मेज़बान मनी, और जैसे कि ब्रेक पे जाने से पहले हमने आपको इत्तला दी थी कि हमारे आज स्टूडियो में ख़ास मेहमान हैं ओलेक्सेंडर सरनेत्स्की साहब, जो कि एक एथलीट है, स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन है, और हमारे उस्ताद भी हैं। वैसे एक मामले में आजकल हम थोड़ी वर्जिश कर रहे हैं, तो आप हमारे उस्ताद हैं, और आज स्टूडियो में हाजिर हैं। आप यूक्रेनियन हैं, और जब 2022 में रशियन फेडरेशन ने हमला किया यूक्रेन पर, उसके बाद आप कनाडा आए, और आजकल आप इसको घर कहते हैं अपना। उनसे जानने की कोशिश करते हैं कि उनका ये एहसास कैसा रहा है, कनाडा का एक्सपीरियंस कैसा रहा है, किस तरह से कनाडा ने उनके साथ सलूक किया है। आइए इनको खुशामदीद कहते हैं, और ये गुफ्तगू हम शुरू करते हैं। आई हैव इन स्टूडियो अ वेरी स्पेशल गेस्ट, Alexander Sarnetsky. He's an athlete, a sports person. He's also my coach, and that's how I know him. And he has a fascinating story to share, because he came to Canada after the Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022 and has been living here ever since. He is a loving husband, a doting father to 2 daughters. That's what I have heard. And he's going to tell us his life journey this far. Let's welcome him on this program. Thank you so much. Good evening to you, Oleg. Welcome to my show.
Thank you so much for inviting. It was a pleasure for me to be here today. This first live experience for me to be in the radio show. Thank you for that too.
There's always a first time, you see.
Yeah, very, very first time. So I want to apologize in advance if my English will be a little bit weird, because I'm just using this language for like 2.5 years right now, not more. And then most of the time I was talking Russian back home, because I'm from the international family. My mom was born in Moldova.
In the USSR?
In USSR. My father is from Ukraine. And when he was joining the military, that's how he met my mom. So then they get married, and she was going to live with him in Ukraine. And then my grandma and most of my cousins and my aunties was from Moldova. So the summertime I was visiting them, and that's why it was easy for me to learn English, because I get used to it, right, at home, to speak Ukrainian, Russian, then I learned Romanian language.
Wow.
And then after that, at school we start to learn English. So, but the marks at English back home at the school, when I was studying at the school, was not very well, because most of the time since the grade 8, I start to join the swimming, and that's kind of specific, mostly military technical type of sports, called fin swimming. So you're wearing a fins on your legs and you're swimming as fast as you can.
Wow.
Doing lanes, right? Doing lanes in the pool. So it's very interesting. And that was time when I was participating the World Cups, junior world competitions like that. And then we was very successful team in that time. And
so was this within Ukraine or was this in Europe, in Eastern Europe?
That was in Ukraine. Yeah, when I was grade 8 until first course of my university.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you might want to pull the mic towards you a little
closer
bit, a little
me?
closer. Yes,
Yeah, like that.
The top one, the face towards you.
Yeah,
yes,
that will be
This
better.
is better. Yes, this is
okay.
great.
I'll try to do that.
Okay, yeah,
Okay, thank
because
you
the
so
audio is a lot clearer.
Okay.
But it's fascinating, Oleg, and you've shared this about your life. Was it a smooth life before 2022, before the invasion? Or did you ever think that you would have to come out at some point?
Well, no, we was really living a quiet life. Well, after when I done with my sports, right, it was like, and I believe in 2008, right, I finished my university. I started working since that time as a personal trainer back home. I was doing a personal session for swimming and for the gym. And I was trying to build my career over there. Then as like every person who's reaching the age of 25, I start to find out myself, what I need to do in my life, right? Like something like this, right? Interesting moments of the life. And then I start to travel a little bit. I goes to work in Kuwait.
Wow.
Yeah, for 1 year. Then, interesting fact, I spent 8 months almost in India, traveling also there. Most of the time I was spending in Goa, as every European or like North American man, right? It was an interesting experience. I spent a couple of months going around Mumbai and New Delhi. Yeah, I saw the life over there.
Delhi is my city.
Yeah, it's kind of at the same time amazing and then very unique atmosphere over there. That's what I can say.
Did you get Delhi belly? Because many Westerners or people who are from outside India, Delhi belly is when you get your stomach gets upset when you go to India and eat Indian food.
Well, one time when I decided to try unknown restaurant, so one time, I almost I got to the hospital, but it was not in Delhi. It was in Goa.
Goa, okay.
Yeah, and then, but the rest of the time was fine. And then, I get used to it, to the spices, which has saved me a lot of times.
Okay.
So that was fine, yeah. And then, I turned, so I will answer to the question very fast. I turned back home. I started to work as a teacher in a school. Nothing was worrying me. Yeah, I was building my life with my wife. I got an amazing daughter. And then since that moment in 2002, one time I wake up when my older daughter, she was like 20 years, that moment she was 17 years old. She woke up me at 6 o'clock and she was screaming like, "Dad, Mom, the war is start." And we was like, "What, the war?" And then
how did she say that in Ukrainian? If you could just say that.
We was talking Russian.
Russian, okay.
She said, "Mama, Papa, война началась." So that was her
Vojna meaning war.
Expression, right? Yeah. So the war is start, and I was like, "What, the war is start?" And then I heard the explosion. I heard the explosion, and then we start to. We was not panic. For my wife, it was the second time because she's from Lugansk. In 2014, she was running. She was inside country refugee. She was running from the war from the east of the country to the west.
Yeah, the Crimean
yeah, when there
annexation,
was
yeah,
like first time. So she was like, okay, no panic. Let's go to the bank. Let's take all cash what we can do it, right? Then let's go to buy some groceries.
yeah. And you were in Kiev.
Yeah, we was in Kiev that time. Yeah, she said like, let's go to buy some groceries. We go to buy some groceries, and yeah, we was staying home for the next, I guess, 6 day, I believe. Yeah,
Okay.
in Kiev when just it started, when there was massive attack, when the Russians get almost to the Kiev. They were staying on the border of the Kiev because by the Chernobyl, when there was explosion in
Yes, 86.
1986,
Yes.
right? From the Belarus, they gets down, and it's nearby to Kiev. So they was almost there, right? And that moment, our government go to the extremely decisions. They start to give the weapons for the general population. They was just show them the passport. So most of the guys, mans, they run to the those trucks with the passport of the Ukraine, and they was getting the weapons.
Wow.
And it was scared us a lot because I was with my wife with 2 kids. We was hiding in a bomb shelter. But as my wife said, everything can happen. Any kind of, like, I don't know, like maybe not stable mental person can get the weapon, get to the bomb shelter, right? And killed us there. Because I was not locking. There is no security in there. So that was scared us the most. So at the 6th day, we decide to trying to get to the train, right? And gets to the west of the country. So this is what we did. And then we jumped into the train and we get away to the west of the country. So that's how we saved from the Kiev. And at that time, my cousin helped us. She has her friend, which is his house at the west of the country. They provide us with this housing. We was staying there for like a couple of months. And we was trying already, came to the Canada in 2021, right? But we was trying to make the papers for my kids and my wife. But the government of Canada said they don't have a lot of connections, so they're afraid to get them into the Canada, so they will not turn back to the Ukraine. And all papers was already done. And since the war started, we decide, okay, why we will not use again the chance to go to the Canada. And also we all have friends here who was help them a little bit from the start, first 2 months, right? So they decide to go here, and I stay there for next 9 months in Ukraine to see all things what was happening in the beginning.
Wow.
For the first 9 months, yes.
Now, after you came to Canada, Oleg, this is a different country with a very different culture. Although it is very welcoming, accommodating, but it also has its own verve.
Yeah.
Right? So, what was your experience after coming to Canada? Did you face any kind of difficulties after coming here?
Well, I'll tell you like this. I was not feeling these difficulties because my wife came here first with the kids. So she's the one who goes through the most hardest time here in Canada, right? That was hard for her because she needs to find a job. She needs to take care of the kids. And at the same time, she needs to rent the house and do all the things, right? If will be not help from the beginning, right? What they have it from our friends who was invite us here, and then some people who was support us after that. That will be it cannot be done by her own power, right? She will not have power for this. So if the people will not help her, like they help, that cannot be successful at all.
What about your children? Because children often have the hardest time whenever a calamity of this sort happens, right?
Well,
Moving into a new country. Your little one was even tinier when you
Yeah,
came
she
in.
was 3 years old when she
Yes.
came here, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And your elder daughter,
And
she,
my older daughter was 17, and in the end, they supposed. I said I came here after 9 months, right? My wife goes through the hard times. She was working at the Marriott Hotel, like a housekeeper, and also she was taking a part-time job with the private peoples to cleaning the houses and do the job done, make a job done, to get as more as she can monies, so we will have a chance to bring me here, right? So she goes through the hard times. She was not understanding what she's doing. Hope God blessed us. Was a lot of people next to us who helped us with this journey, and they was helping her and supporting her a lot, right? When she was here, I was also doing something back home, right? Like transferring some clothes or maybe like things what we need. I was making some monies for doing work over there. Well, but the hardest part was for her until I came here. Then when I came here, also she was taking care of everything, right? And she was the one who was working, and she gives me the time to re-educate myself here, because as we knowing, the most universities from another parts of the world are not going to be how to say
they will not give you or accept your educational credentials.
They will not
over
accept
here.
my
Yes.
education here. Yes, so you need to recertify yourself
Yes.
or re-educate yourself. As I have my education like Olympic and professional sport of sport university back home, it doesn't giving me nothing. They was not accepting me. Either I have a huge experience like a professional for like more than 18 years since I came here, right? They was not accepting me as a professional, and I need to go and re-educate again here. Thank you for best experience of education. One of the most good college in North America. It was called InfoFit. They welcomed me there, give me the support, prepare me for the exam. My English was not that level as it's right now. And it was hard for me a little bit to understand, but I was trying my best. And then at the end, I was certified as a professional, like as a personal fitness trainer here. And then after a while, I did also another certification as a swimming trainer, right? So right now I'm working and I'm taking 3 jobs at the same time to make a life for my wife easier, right? Make her stay a little bit more home, a little bit rest, because she deserves that, because she goes through the very hard times that moment. And right now I'm trying to help her a lot. So that's why I'm taking 3 jobs at the same time. I'm working as a personal trainer in Club 16, Travel London. Thank you for this opportunity. Also, I'm working in with the city of Richmond as a personal trainer in Mineral Center. And I'm doing swimming sessions in ice swim school.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work, Oleg.
Well, yes, I'm busy, pretty busy, running around, especially now when the time is gone, like gets me to the job. Yeah, I'm doing a lot. I'm doing a lot.
That's tremendous work. Now, because you were in Ukraine, as you said, for 9 months when your family came over here and you were still there, were you not scared that you will be called for the draft? Like, forced to join the military?
Well,
and serve in
that's
the
the
front?
one case, and as we already everyone knows, in Ukraine and in Russia, they are not calling this an actual war, right? Because still the Russia and Ukraine have the business. The gas have been transporting by the Ukrainian territory from Russia to the European Union and other countries, right? So they still have this. They're not doing embargo gas, right? So they still transferring the gas. So that's mean they have this business communications in between those countries. So whenever is the war, right, they will pronounce the war between these countries. They need to stop all the businesses and everything, right, by the law. But they call this special military operation,
Yeah.
right? And as we already know, the special military operation has a specific rules for this thing, right? And so if you have a strong lawyer, you can prove yourself and be good with the laws what we have in this territory, then you can prove it and leave the country. But it will to make the law work, you need to get your lawyer and make him to make your paperwork done, right?
Okay.
To prove
To convince the authorities.
Okay. To
that you
prove
needed to
it.
leave.
But you can't. No, you don't need to. You can leave the country.
Okay.
It was loyal in that time in 2022 when I came here, but now day with the day, they making more strict rules, strict. So if there is parents who have 3 kids can leave the country. The man who have 3 kids, he can leave the country. Right now, they cannot. Same thing. Who was one of the person who was taking care of his all family members, right? And was a person with a disability in this family. They also can leave the country because he was taking care of disability person, right? Right now, no. Everyone should need to stay in country. And they are closing the borders harder and harder, doesn't giving the way to anyone get through it. And then with the time, it's more difficult and difficult. And if you want to do it, they will charge you more and more with the monies to get paperwork done or goes through the things, right? So last time when we was heard about something, it was cost around $20,000 something.
Wow.
Yeah, to leave the country for the person, and that's not. It's incredible amount of monies in Ukraine.
Yeah, of
it's
course.
Incredible.
Even for that matter, anywhere else, right outside North America, is going to be a lot of money in India as well. Now, very often we hear this derisive talk from people over here. Some people, not everyone. By and large, this country is very welcoming. But we do hear sometimes some voices who say, oh, refugees are a drain on our resources. Refugees, this is not a country of refugees. We should stop paying money to Ukraine to keep Ukraine in the fight. That's what the Canadian government has been doing. But there are many critics of that move of the government. How do you respond to that? And what do you feel? You must have heard similar arguments in your life after coming to Canada.
No, I didn't hear this type of arguments in my own site. And then for our listeners, I can tell also we don't have refugee status here. And then probably the government of Canada helped to Ukraine, but it helps actually to Ukraine. It's not help to the people who is staying in Canada. As I said already, we came here in Canada. Well, we start with my wife. My wife started from the scratch, right? And I came here. I was also starting from the scratch. I doesn't have anything. I don't have any monies collected back home. We came here with the empty pockets. Thanks God for the friends who helped us a lot that time. Yes, and then one thing the government of Canada make for us, they make one-time help payment. For each Ukrainian person who came in Canada, for the adult, they was paying $3,000. Yeah, and then for the kids, they was paying $1,500.
$1,500.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one-time payment.
Okay.
One-time payment. After that, we was doing everything on our own. So when we was arriving the airport, right? For example. This is what I know. This is what the information was sharing my wife with me because she's staying more on the track of the news, what's happening. Yeah, my thing is I need to work.
Yes.
Yeah, I need to build up. So she's saying, and whatever I know, other people's, for example, Assyrians or people from another kind of Palestinians, right, or someone else, whenever they was arriving to Canada, they was getting their not the refugee status, they was giving them a permanent residence straight away in the airport. They was just giving them the card of permanent residence. when we came here in Canada, we just got the open work permit, what was permitting us to work anywhere where we want. By the work, we will find out on our own. Also, there was a service of the Work BC, right? What was here locally in our province, what was helping to Ukrainians, but no one doesn't want to know how to use it in a proper way, right? So even my wife doesn't have a lot of help from the Work BC when she was trying to find out the job here. They was just saying, we can make for you the CV. That's it. That's the help what they was providing her. When I came here and I was find a good worker of the Work BC, they was explaining me a lot, and they helped me with the first transferring from my home to the work. They give me the tickets for the transportation, public transportation. They give me the money for buying specific clothes what I need to do my work, right? So that was help from the government. And then any other help we didn't get, so first payment $3,000. Work BC was helping to find a job. If you will ask them for that, if you will not, they will not help you at all. And then we have the program what was helping you to learn the English, right, when you came in here. But rest of us, no, we was straight going to the work like a normal person, any other normal person in Canada. We was going to the work, and we straight after that needs to pay our bills. And if you will not have any monies in your pockets, that will make your life very hard, right? So all people who have savings or the people who have just connections can survive here. So the numbers is Canada open those visas with the quiet visas for the Ukrainians. They open more than 1 million visas, right? The people who arrived in Canada, it was close let's say 200,000 people arrived in Canada. Then I know, the numbers what I know, 80,000 people already left the Canada. So right now in Canada stays 100 to 120,000 people from Ukraine. I think is not very big number of the people since the Russian invasion start, right? And not one of those person didn't get any refugee status, which is mean the government of Canada will pay the bills of statement, right, of housing or something like that. Every person needs to work on a work permit and paying his own bills on his own. That's how it works. So we are not getting most of the refugees, the programs, right? When you coming to the Canada, they giving you the housing, you staying there, then they bring you groceries, then you going to the university for 1 year, you're learning the language, maybe you're taking some profession, right? And then after that, by this, what the all government handling, then after 1 or 2 years, you're going to the work and you're starting your life you're starting your new life, right? This is not how it works with Ukrainians. Ukrainians has everything different. Since we came here from the very first time, we're starting work. If you're not working, you need to have a savings. If you don't have savings, well,
You're on your
you will
own.
just have this government one-time payment in amount of $3,000, and if you will spend these monies, you will go back home, or you're going to another country.
Now, but as you said, many Ukrainians have now left Canada.
Yes, yeah.
Now, after spending 2 years or more than that in Canada, what do you feel like? Of course, everyone will remember their home country, their homeland. You can never forget that. But the life that you have been able to build for yourself here, is it something that you cherish, or you are planning to go back at some point?
Well, we are always working to be better, right?
Right.
And then this is, our kid came here when she was 3 years old, right? Now she's 6. So almost her half of life have been spent in Canada. And why we left our country? We left our country because we want to save our kids, make them secure and safety, right? So one thing we are trying always with my wife, making a better conditions for the kids, and we want to, if we will bless it, right, and we will find out the way to make a permanent residence here, and then to apply for Canadian citizenship, right? That will be our best case scenario, right?
Yeah.
We are not thinking about what's going to happen if we will need to left the Canada or where we will go. Definitely we will not go back home. It will be another country. But additionally, we want to work on to get the paperwork done here and get the permanent residence, right, in the future.
I hope you get it. And we hope that everything that you have struggled for, you achieve. Everything that you have got here, you get to keep it. But we know that whenever there is a conflict that's happening back home, and then people become refugees either by their own will or because they are forced by the circumstances, then that thing always remains at the back of their minds, right? And there's a lot of trauma that is associated with it. When you're settling in a new country, that trauma affects you. It impacts your relationships with your own family, sometimes with your friend circle or people that you meet for the first time. Have you faced those kind of emotional challenges as well after coming to Canada?
Well, my parents are always support me, right? Like since they trying to support me since we left to Canada. The parents of my wife always supporting her. We don't have any problems with the family members. But as I said already, like we have almost more people back home who was before the Russian invasion, who was speaking Russian language back home. And then most, like, I think like half to the half, or maybe 40 to 60% was dividing. The people, like 40% was speaking Ukrainian, 60% was speaking Russian, right? And then since the invasion started, the most people start to speak Ukrainian, right? But additionally, still in the couloirs of the, of the public, they still keep speaking Russians in between, yeah. And then when the conversation going in the way when another person feel himself weaker, but he's speaking Ukrainian in face of the person who's speaking Russian, he's starting to teasing him with the words like, "Oh, why you not speaking the government language? Why you speaking the
enemy's
language of the occupants?" Right? And that's one of the circumstances where the people can tease each other and make fights in between same people, like same nation, where they speak different languages. But if we will talk about, like, we all was born in Soviet Union. I was born in 1988, right? So in that moment, we was not thinking about that. Yeah, we all was speaking in the language what we know, and especially I was born in the international family, right? So they cannot communicate.
You were born in the Ukrainian SSR then?
Yeah, I was born in Ukrainian SSR, but my mom was born in Moldova, right? My father was from Ukraine. And how they will communicate, right? Only in Russian, because that was the international language that time. Same thing with the Kazakhstan, right? We can speak with the Kazakhstan people because they speak Russian, but they have their own Kazakh language, right?
Absolutely.
And same thing
with Uzbeks
Moldova,
as well. Yeah.
right? It's Romanian language most of the time, but they can speak Russian, so that's why we can understand each other. Ukraine can speak, and then Belarus can speak Belarus language, but they can speak Russian too, so we can understand each other.
Right.
That's how it was going. And then but even a lot of soldiers who's now in the lane of the front and they fighting with the Russians, from the Ukrainian side, they also speak Russian. They're not speaking Ukrainian, they speak Russian.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
A scholar that I met, I think 2 years back, he said that the Ukrainian invasion is also a Russian tragedy because the way Russian culture, language, even literature, Alexander Pushkin and all of that, these are being discarded now because you are suddenly the enemy. So do you get triggered, let's say if somebody says, Tavarish Oleg, do you get triggered? Oh, that's...
Well, I have not. And then, as I said, I was grow up in an international family, most of the time when I'm meeting someone from my country, I'm trying to speak with them in Russian. And sometimes I'm seeing like the people getting upset of that. Yes, and then when I'm seeing they get upset when I'm talking to them in Russian, well, I'm trying to honor them and trying to go back to our government language, our Ukrainian language. But the case is, I hate when the people, I cannot talk proper language from one side or from another side. And when they mixed the words together, you know,
You're a language purist yourself?
Yeah,
You want
well,
pure
yeah,
Russian or pure Ukrainian?
If I will speak Russian, I will speak Russian.
Okay.
If I will speak Ukrainian, I will speak Ukrainian. And I will never take the Russian words and transfer them in the Ukrainian motifs and then tell them like that, right? In the Ukrainian type. So I hate when the people are doing that. And I was like, come on, guys, if you cannot speak proper Ukrainian language, please speak with me in Russian. If you cannot speak in Russian, so then learn properly Ukrainian language, right? That's what making you be a high educated person, right? Because we are not like I cannot speak English, right? With you, for example, because you know just the English, and then I will mix the Ukrainian words. What's going to happen then? You will not understand. You cannot understand that 50% what I'm trying to say to you, right?
Right.
That's the idea, and that's the thing. That's what making. If you are wants to show like you really good mindset person, and you're trying to get one side more than another. So then you want to try to show to everyone like the language is matter, right? The language is really matter. So then speak pure language. Don't mix two languages at the same time, right?
Wow. Yeah, that's quite a sentiment.
Well, that's my opinion. I have a lot of my friends, they are famous artists back home. Right, they have a really good pronunciation and really pure language, Ukrainian language. And then when I was communicated with them, I was trying to speak with them in Ukrainian language, and they was like very surprised because they know I'm speaking Russian. But when I was talking to them, I was speaking Ukrainian, and they was saying like, "Oh, your language is so fluid right now." They was surprised. And I was like, well, I'm trying my best, right? Because that will honor you like a person who is talking in our native language.
Yeah.
Instead to screw your mind, right? And then put the words which is now existing. And that will be making more like, that will disappoint you, right?
Yeah.
Why I should trying to do that, right?
On that note, thank you so much for joining this broadcast, Oleg. I really appreciate you coming all over to the studio to share your story with all of us, with our listeners. And I hope that all your plans about Canada for your daughter, your younger one, she needs to grow up in a safe country.
Place, right?
Yeah. I hope you get to achieve that. And I hope you all, you and your family, you get to live a long and prosperous life in this country.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Oleg.